Hi, everyone. This is Patty Schubel. I'm the COO for the Belt team at Keller Williams Realty in McLean, and I'm here along with our CEO, Terry Belt. Hi, Terry.
Hello, Patty.
We're here today. We want to discuss a topic we've been hearing a lot of people talk about in our area recently, and that's the real estate tax assessments. For those of you in Fairfax County, you should have received your tax assessment for 2022 recently, very recently. If not, I'm sure it's in the mail and you'll get it any day. And for a large number of you, it's 92% actually this year, that assessment went up. So on average, real estate tax assessments, residential real estate tax assessments are up 9.57% this year. So I wanted to bring Terry in here and talk about all this issue. Like I said, we've been hearing a lot of people talk about it. So Terry, can you explain to folks who might be a little confused why that increase happened in most areas of the county this year?
Sure. Yeah, Patty, I think people are upset about the new reality of their most recent assessments because they've increased so much from last year, almost 10%. And the reality is, I think homeowners are very happy when they hear the real estate market is doing very well. But when they see their tax bill, they're not happy. And so the tax increase, the tax assessment increase that we've seen is a direct reflection of this hot real estate market that we've been experiencing. Average sales prices and property values, what a buyer will pay for property in an arm's length transaction has increased, and the assessments are catching up with that.
Yeah, we have seen all that for sure.
So that's why they've gone up. Market's gone up. The real markets for property and therefore assessments.
Right. So another component of all this is the tax rate, the real estate tax rate. And the 2023 fiscal year and budget was presented to the county board on the 22nd of February. And in it, they proposed no change to the current tax rate, which is, I think, is it $1.14 for every $100 of assessed value?
Correct.
But many people are going to see their tax bills increase for the year. I think you can get into, what the average is supposed to be. But again,
$666 is what the average tax bill will increase this year.
So I've had somebody say to me, so that makes no sense. Why, if the tax rate isn't going up, why is my tax bill going up? And I don't understand where the assessed value actually comes from. You talked about why it went up, but what is that versus the market value versus replacement value, et cetera? Can you get into all that?
Well, I think maybe a good analogy for people to simplify it and to understand is think of your federal income taxes, and you might be paying a certain income tax rate based on your income. And so let's just say this year you paid X in taxes based on what your income was at that tax rate. And next year you have a 10% increase in your income, and they keep the federal income tax rate the same. It's very reasonable to expect that you would pay an increase in your federal income taxes. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing with real estate. The assessment, the tax rate is being proposed to remain the same, but if the assessed value, the income tax or the income of your house goes up, the assessed value increases, then that same tax rate is applied to a higher value, and therefore you're going to have a higher tax.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've been
in terms of where that all comes from.
Yeah.
The as we said, why are assessments up? And your tax bill is up because assessments are up, because assessments are related to market value of a home for sale. And with the crazy real estate market we've been experiencing, property values are up significantly, and the assessors are catching up with that fact, and therefore we're seeing higher tax rates.
Yeah. So you've been,
not tax rates, we're seeing higher tax bills.
Tax bills, right. So I don't want to age you. I'm not going to, say anything like that, but you have been in the business a long time in a good way. That's a good thing. How does this compare to other years you've seen? Again, we're hearing a lot of, I can't believe the increase year over year. What do you, I mean, how do you, in your years of experience, how does this compare?
I don't have all the data on the increase in assessed values, but there is a correlation between assessed value and market value. And I think the perception today is that, we are in the craziest real estate market we have ever been in. And in some ways we really are. And that is exhibited by the fact that we have such a low inventory of homes. We've never had such a shortage of properties.
Right.
And so there's all sorts of stories out there about people lining up to buy houses and multiple contracts and escalations and all sorts of, wild bidding on properties.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, in terms of, the average sales price last year went up, just under 10% in Northern Virginia. And if you compare that to the last cycle we were in, when we had such a crazy market, we had average sales prices increasing between 12 and 22% in the years 2001 to 2000, into 2005, into 2006.
Yeah.
And so we have not seen a 5-year sustained period of that type of annual appreciation. But values, bottom line, today are the highest they've ever been over time with inflation and
Right.
so forth. So, it's not a simple answer to your question. We really are in a crazy market, but I think in terms of sustainable year over year, double-digit increases, we haven't seen that the past 5 years. It's really only been the past couple of years that we've seen the larger increases. I think we've seen a bigger increase in the value of land and the cost of new construction and the price of new construction to buy.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So, thank you. All great information. So if you are sitting there looking at your assessment that you got in the mail, think it's wrong, can you do anything about it?
Yes, you can. I've had, over the years, after the last cycle we had, after the last peak we had back in 2005, 6, I had some people that bought property then, and then as we went into a down market, their neighbors' properties were selling for less than what they paid at the time. And so there is a process. There's really 2 things that you can do. The most practical thing you can do immediately is to contact Fairfax County Department of Tax Administration. There is an appeals process. The first step would be to ask for an appraiser on staff, the people that are responsible for putting the assessments together, and be prepared with comparable home sales data, which we can always help with if you need help, to demonstrate why, make your case for why you think your home would not sell for as much as they say it's assessed for. And the second thing is really more political, and that's related to the tax rate. Last year the tax rate went down, not by a lot, but it went from a penny down. Yeah. And that was related to COVID, and the thinking on the Board of Supervisors who decide the tax rate ultimately was that at that time, with the economy in a precarious situation with COVID, not to effectively increase taxes by as much, even though they still went up about $225 on average per house. Yeah. So you can call your local supervisor and ask why. We have 375,000 approximate residential properties in Fairfax County at $666 on average. That's about $250 million increase in net tax revenue that'll come into the county. What is that being used for? Is it needed? So maybe they won't keep the rate the same. Maybe they'll decrease it by a little bit, make it similar to what it was last year in terms of the total tax bill. But I don't have great hopes for that, but we'll see.
You can wish, right? You can hope. Wonderful. Well, thank you. I know you're in your car because you're busy and you're working with clients, I know, all the time. So thank you.
Yeah, ironically, I'm trying to sell houses. It's going to cause the tax assessments to go up, right?
There you go. Great. Thanks, Terry. Anyway, so wonderful information. And if you want kind of to see this in writing or get even more details, check out our blog on thebeltteam.com. And we do have a Fairfax County tax assessment blog post about it. We also have in there links directly to the county website where you can get your assessment online. There's also a link to the appeals process, everything that we've talked about here. So don't forget to check that out. Subscribe, please, to this YouTube channel. We're going to be doing more discussions like this, questions and answers with Terry about real estate, questions we're hearing from friends and family and clients, also some community updates and fun things. So make sure you subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.